Welcome to the Scottie and Sylvia Show. We are best friends who keep our finger on the pulse of the culture. I'm Scottie Beam.
And I'm Sylvia Obell. And on this show, we talk about it all, from our favorite actors to our favorite affirmations.
From black joy to black drama.
And just a sprinkle of Caucasian chaos every now and again.
Welcome to the Scottie and Sylvia Show, where we speak our minds like it's our full-time job and have so much fun doing it. I am Scottie Beam. Just just off of watching the Beyoncé experience, the Renaissance. Literally, I went to sleep at 4 a.m.
And I am Sylvia Obell. I have also purchased at least 2 tickets to that movie by now. Because that lady, that Renaissance. Let's just get into it, friend. Hey, friend, how you doing this week? We have batteries in our back.
Yes, we do.
Beyonce AAA batteries, triple B batteries.
I can run through a brick wall right now. You hear me? That damn Renaissance movie, 3 hours of just pure motivation. Okay.
Listen, honestly, the nerve of Giselle to put that shit out right before the holidays is crazy. Because right when I'm like, rest time, she said, get up,
I
bitch.
haven't rested for 44 days.
Called me lazy. She called us lazy. She told us to go harder. Her work, no, but honestly, jokes aside, there's never a time I watch any Beyonce doc. Life is But a Dream, Homecoming. What have you, where I don't leave feeling like the hardest working woman in the world, the baddest bitch that ever walked this globe. Like, how your faves could never. I don't understand. Like, it's just every time I think I'm standing too hard, she reminds me I'm not standing enough.
Hard enough.
I am not standing on business. I need to stand on business. Like, it's actually crazy to see the extreme work that went into that tour. She said she's been working on that Renaissance tour since before the pandemic.
Yes.
She said it was like, 4 years, 7 years, something like that?
Yes, 4 years.
4 years since that she's been working on that tour. I just, the vision, she's that level of visionary, that foresight, that meticulousness, to be that talented and to still be that good of and to execute.
It's crazy to me.
It's just crazy.
What is baffling to me? Well, one, it's just so easy to be a Beehive stan at this point. It's just so easy to it's so easy.
The only safe place.
It really is. But there's no accolade. There's no award. There is nothing that's on this earth that can really symbolize or explain, this is what you mean. There's nothing. Here.
Maybe the Nobel. Give her the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right. The Pulitzer.
the Presidential Award. Whatever.
Because there's just nothing. There's not a Lifetime Achievement Award. There really isn't. And when I say she stands next to Michael Jackson, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
And he's up there like, yep.
He's up there like, absolutely. But it was so inspiring to see her trust her vision, her now, her new things that she's learned about herself, and also as a mother, as a person, as a woman, as just all these things, and as a businesswoman, and her realizing that it's not her job to be a fucking people pleaser, and that she is now dedicated to just trusting her own vision and going that direction at all times, because that's what got her here. The way when she was talking about, I'm sorry, this is guys, if you haven't seen it, I'm so sorry. You should have gone and seen it.
You had the weekend. I don't even think
you had the weekend, baby.
We don't even know how long it's gonna be in theaters. Messing with Beyonce.
Idea.
If you didn't go see it this weekend, you wasn't serious about it.
But it is mind-boggling how long she has been doing this, okay?
So long.
Since she is a child, a baby, a little toddler. The moments, think about when you were like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Could you imagine getting on stage or singing in front of a Frenchie's or singing in a damn
parking lot?
Any parking lot, trying to in a beauty salon, just trying
To make
it. And also loving what you do and being able to hone in on your craft since you were 8.
When she said about the injury to her vocal cords and about how because she was when she was in the studio and in the booth for like 12 hours and because she never complained, and that's how she injured her. I was like, oh, so you've always been like this. Like, you was in the studio for 12 hours at under 10 years old, growling to a mic over and over again, and your vocal cords were so badly hurting that, like, you literally injured them. And were on vocal rest for, like, a summer. And you still didn't complain?
You didn't complain. You didn't give up. And your ass went on a roller coaster.
Didn't scream.
And didn't scream. Do you know how we love to go, woo!
You're a child.
As
the self-control. The self-control is crazy. I'm like, you've had the self-control of a 45-year-old businesswoman your whole life. And it's like, I'm trying to organize, because you're right. It's so hard to organize your thoughts. You said the thing about the people pleaser moment, and I do want to just
too much.
Land there for a second, because nothing brought me so much joy as hearing Beyonce say, I don't have anything to prove to y'all no more.
I have nothing.
I have nothing to prove, because every time I've been mad at the Grammys, the Recording Academy, the Office charts, whatever, it's really, I love that, like, it's because I felt like I needed her to know what she really has done. So I'm so glad that she knows it regardless. Like, that she knows that it's bullshit what hasn't been given to her, and what has been given to her is just extra. It's icing on the cake from here on out. Our girl is happy. Like, the end of the movie, I was crying because it's like, she's happy. And I'm just so happy she's happy, because to live in this industry, and she talked about it, it's not like she hasn't had her hard times. This is such a hard industry to be in that long and still be happy, and to not be lost, and to not be, like, drugged out, or just, like, completely out of touch with reality.
We see a lot of people do that. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
A lot of people lose their way, and to still have your sense of self, because you keep the people who were around you before this
around you now.
And so you're able to look at them and look in their eyes and remind yourself who you are and where you've come from. I think that is incredible to note too.
Right. And I love that, Tina, who was always just right there. My favorite, like, the backstage interview where Tina's, like, right behind Beyonce, and she's, like, in the makeup chair doing her interview. That's really how I picture them all the time. Like, Tina just back there, like, nodding. Like, yep, and oh, well, not this part, but yep, and then saying her part. Like, it's the history of fashion with their family and styling, and how it really was such a family operation. Like, Tina sewing those girls' costumes because they couldn't get nobody to give them clothes. Like, it's just
a means of survival, though. It's how their family survived.
She said for years
that's
they
how
survived.
they survived, especially with Uncle Johnny.
Yes.
That's how he survived. I cried. When I tell you, when I heard when they spoke, in depth about Uncle Johnny, that, to me, really messed me up a little bit, because that is how a lot of people have to survive. They have to figure out a way to get people to need them, to want them, except for just who they are. You have to have a craft so that you can be seen as necessary to society,
to these
like,
people, so they will
survive, so that they won't kill you, so that you won't die. It just was it was freeing. And it was beautiful. It was liberating.
It's like,
and that music, and then it just takes me back to listening to the album for the first time and knowing that this was going to be my favorite Beyonce album. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anyone says.
I just immediately pictured myself as an older Black woman playing this concert for my grandkids and being like, I was there. And let me tell you what it was like. I just loved all of it. And shout out to Blue for demanding that Diva make the cut. Taste. She said Diva is the female version of a hustler, and we are including it in.
But I also love the fact that Beyonce is a Black ass mom and said absolutely not, turn it down.
She said, hey, Blue. She did a nice combo of soft parenting but Black. But make it Black. Yeah. She said, hey,
and that's what I would want to do to my
your
kids.
Feedback.
Like, but you can't
you gotta take it down.
You can't cut off people.
I understand you're
excited.
Cut
people off. So I love that. Shout out to Beyonce. girl, we ain't gonna hear from you for a few years.
Speaking of,
okay?
yes, work ethic. I was telling Scottie, I literally, after I kept hearing great things about the Tyler Perry doc, Maxine's Baby, which I love the name of the doc, and that like when they asked him to define himself, like director, showman, like showrunner, like whatever, how would he define himself? And he paused and said, I'm Tyler Perry and I'm Maxine's baby.
Maxine's baby.
That's his mama. Woo!
I cried.
Come on, boo-hoo. You want to talk about a boo to the who?
Tears.
And his mother's no longer with us. And so it was just, but I watched the doc after I watched Renaissance because I guess I just was like on a high of like high worker level working Black people who are making changes. And like, I know we all have a lot of opinions on Tyler. Lord knows I have a few myself. But I will always respect what that man has done for the business of Hollywood. It was really dope to see the intricacies of like how he made the 90-10 television deal and like funding his own stuff to have creative ownership and how many things he said no to because he believed in having full creative freedom.
And like we could talk about like Hollywood. I'm one of the people, unfortunately, I know that I really fuck with Tyler Perry. Yes, I get it. He writes things really quick. He doesn't, whatever. But I'm one of those people that really believe that Tyler Perry made a genre and also made stories for Black people who are forgotten about.
Yes.
Who don't get the entertainment that they've been wanting. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very irresponsible, I would say, to be like, Tyler Perry makes trash. Sure, you.
Yeah, to label it all trash is crazy. It's
right. And labeling Diary of a Mad Black Woman trash is crazy to me.
Yeah, no, period. Because some of those movies are just good all around, okay?
It's good.
I like Diary of a Mad Black Woman. A Family That Prays. Sanaa's another one. Sanaa's another one that he put up in there. And she played the villain, okay? Alfred was up in and she said, I'll be that. Boy. I said, wow, Sanaa.
My son is a car. Right. I will watch. Why Did I Get Married?
Why Did I Get Married? He had Janet, Jill.
Like there are some lines that are heavily.
The wigs is where I understand some of y'all commentary about the wigs for sure. But
yes, no, the wigs are crazy.
The wigs are crazy.
At this point, I think I know he knows what he's doing. I'm sorry, hold on. But when I say I'm talking about mostly movies and things like that. But what I do agree with sometimes is mostly the shows that are produced, and they're really quickly produced, and sometimes you can see how quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my only gripe.
Because I will say it's brilliant. They broke down how it's like normally the studio does a pilot, and if you're lucky, you get 12. But to get the syndication, you have to have 100 episodes. So what Tyler did, he created a whole new model where he said, I'm going to take all the money I have, make 10 episodes of this show, bet huge on myself. And then, thank God they did he trusted his audience, which is one thing I will always say, like to your point about Tyler.
They don't play.
They don't play about him, and he don't play about them. And they put them ratings out the water, and then TBS bought the 90. He got them to buy 90 episodes to automatically put him in the syndication so they could get residuals and rerun checks and all that shit. That is genius. So he plays an important role. Black Panther being filmed on his soundstage, to me, is always the ecosystem right there. And when he built that big ass soundstage in Atlanta is when a lot of people apologized. I believe that's when Spike did, because he had Tyler named the soundstage after Spike, which was very gracious and Christian of him. But yeah, so watching that and Beyonce back to back, it told me a few things. It told me to work harder. It definitely said, if you're going to want to be somebody, if you want to be somebody and you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and get to fucking work. Get to fucking work. Nobody wants to work these days.
No, it seems like nobody wants to work
It seems like nobody wants to work these days. But y'all gonna have to get to fucking work, because these millions ain't gonna make themselves. These vacations ain't gonna pay for themselves. The soft life ain't gonna pay for itself. Yes.
It's really good. Yeah. And so, but also we have some congratulations to hand out.
Oh, yes.
Ashanti is pregnant.
Ashanti, congratulations.
Shout
It's
out
breaking
to
news as far as when we were recording. By the time this comes out, you guys will all know this. But we are happy for her and the baby and everybody else who are doing well successfully in their personal lives and their business lives. Because let me tell you what's hard out here. Making money.
Okay.
Making money. Because according to CBS News, currently things are so bad right now that Americans need an extra $11,400 to afford the basics. That means the people are making $11,400 less than they need to be making. There's a lot of people trying to break generational curses after years of money trauma. And we've just decided that we should call in some support along the way because, baby, some of us are just trying to start at step 1 and step 2.
Right. So we asked a few friends to pull up for today's episode because we need a community. First, we talked to New York Times best-selling author and my favorite finance guru ever, okay, from Jersey.
Hey!
Tiffany Alice, a.k.a. the Budgetnista.
Yes, and then we have some fun catching up with the leading ladies of rap shit, y'all. That's right, we got Aida Osman and KaMillion here to hear their seducing, scheme, money-making ways. And scheme. And you know, a little bit more of the fun stuff with them. So it's a jam-packed episode. Okay, guys? But we're covering a lot of bases, so let's get into it. Get your notebooks out. Get the pens and papers.
Please, you know I love me a pen and paper. Okay, we are so happy to have Tiffany Alice, the Budgetnista, the woman who really has us watching our pockets. You hear me?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And before we dive into these pocketbooks, tell us, because we love to ask this question first, how is your heart doing right now?
You sound like my therapist. She's always like, "Where are you right now?" I feel pretty, all things considered. I feel okay. It's the holidays are just sometimes can be really hard after you've had a loss. But I took a 2-hour walk this morning because I live next to this beautiful park in Newark and it's just so pretty. And I try my best to get out there every day to take a walk, but I don't always get the opportunity. And I did this morning. And I just was kind of counting my blessing, like I've got great parents. I've got amazing sisters. I'm one of 5 girls. I've got really good friends, my nieces, my nephew. Like even just my dream catchers, my community, like worldwide, I over-index in love. I can't step on these streets without a Black woman coming up to me and just being like, "I'm just going to give you a hug, girl, because you don't know how you saved me." And so, I was counting those blessings this morning. So I'm in a good space.
That's amazing, because let's just go right into one labor of love that you've released, your book. Congratulations on your new book, Made Whole, which is saving a lot of people. It is saving me, okay? I literally am highlighting everything down, like wasting no time, because baby girl got to save some money, okay? But for those who may not be familiar with your work, can you briefly share about how you became the Budgetnista?
Sure. So I was a preschool teacher in Newark, New Jersey, Brick City, stand up.
Shout out to Newark.
And I thought I would do that forever. I got my master's in education. In my mid-20s, I bought a condo. And at the time I had a boyfriend that I thought from college that I thought I'd marry. And then at age 26, I kind of blew up my whole life. I was like, I don't actually want to marry him. So we broke up. I got my master's and now I owed $50,000 in debt, and I bought this condo for $220,000, and then I was tricked into a scam that left me $35,000 in credit card debt, and then the recession hit and I lost my job, so I owed about $300,000 and no income. It was just a really hard time, and as I was digging my way out of that time, because I was fortunate to grow up in a household where I was taught about budgeting and saving and investing in debt, that I started to just put one foot in front of the other to say, after I took a year to boo-hoo and be depressed about it, you can fix this. And as I started to fix this, so many of my friends were like, "Can you help me fix my financial mess?" And so I did. And then friends of friends, I helped them. And then friends of friends of friends. And at the time, my best friend told me, you should make this into a business. And I was like, can you do that? And so I started the Budgetnista in the heart of the recession. And I've helped over 2 million, 90% Black women worldwide, get and stay on financial track. So I'm just really proud of what I've done thus far.
Wow. That's amazing. And I love that you are like that. One of my favorite parts about your origin story is that it starts from a place of having to build yourself up and out of something versus a lot of times people who are giving financial advice have just always had it or come from generational wealth, or it's just like they know money because it's just always been an access and abundance. And I think for so many of us, we have our fair share of money anxieties, money trauma. I know I do. I think, especially when it comes to millennials now, as we find ourselves becoming into this place of adulthood where we are slowly becoming the heads of our families and like trying to figure it out in this economy, in this trash economy that we've been handed. And then like at the same time trying to break generational trauma. Like I think, I come from a culture where, and I think a lot of people do, where it's like, I'm first gen Kenyan. I don't know if I ever told you that, Tiffany.
No, I didn't know that,
but
girl.
I was that. I don't think we ever had
African
that
sister.
I don't think we ever had that conversation. But then how like it's often on the young to take care of the old, and it's not always a burden. Like it's a privilege to be able to, but it's also a lot of pressure that I've never found my white counterparts in having to have to deal with. Yeah. We're in a layoff society right now, and I feel like I'm always reminding people I used to work with, like, being laid off for you means you have to humble yourself and ask your parents for money. Yeah. Being laid off for some of us means us and our families are out of money now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it's like having to be that bridge can be difficult. And so I was wondering, like, what advice do you have for millennials who are trying to like find themselves out of this position? I mean, and anybody who's coming after that too, but like when you find yourself kind of in between these two things where it's like you still feel that you still have that need to help the generations that came before you, but you also want to change it for the generations coming after you.
So they call y'all like the sandwich generation, right? Because you're looking after your parents, but then you are the mama and the auntie these days too, and then you have your own family to kind of look after. And so it can be really difficult to learn, one, to set boundaries, but then two, I do believe that we're supposed to lift as we climb. And that is one of the cornerstones of being Black. That like you're not just out here by yourself. You didn't get here by yourself. And so when you do finally get something, I do believe that, we are blessed to be a blessing as well. So managing those two. So it starts one with setting boundaries, right? So to your point, Sylvia, I was fortunate that my parents didn't need a whole lot because my dad made choices in such a way that, they're not, I send them money every month, but not money that's quote unquote needed. Just kind of like, here's money. Really, I'm sending it because I want to send it to my mom. So she could just do whatever she wants, nails done, hair done, everything did. But you can't send it to mommy without sending it to daddy. And they want 2 separate checks as if they don't live in the same house. My mother's like, send my checks separate. I bought this lace. You like this lace? I'm like, yes, mommy, it's lovely lace. She's like, yeah, daddy said it was too expensive. I was like, well, you tell daddy your money is your money. Okay. That's why I sent you the money. My dad just gives the money back to Nigeria. He's like, thank you. To Nigeria it goes. But I had to learn this, you have to learn to set boundaries because family members sometimes will bleed you and suck you dry. But the only way to set boundaries is to understand what are the confines of your finances, right? So how much does it cost my life to run? What do I actually need? How much am I actually making? Like what are my goals? If I'm trying to buy a house later, maybe I'm not gonna, put my name on that car that you want to buy. Because if I'm a co-signer and you don't pay, then all of a sudden that's why I couldn't get my mortgage later. And so the key to navigating with your family is first understanding where you are financially and getting control there, and then that way you can allot, this is what I can do. One of the best pieces of advice I got from my friend Cabral about whether or not to like help out financially with someone is he always asked me to ask, will it actually solve the problem? So even now, like, if you're asking yourself, if people are asking to borrow money or tap into your resources, will this actually solve the problem? Or am I just delaying the inevitable of like what's going to happen. I much rather put this money toward helping you solve the real problem versus I got you for this 1 month. So millennials are really good. I think that we are the generation that started this open communication. You know, the Z's just swear they started everything, but it's like, no, like millennials have started this open conversation. So I want us to practice talking about money more freely. You know, someone asking to borrow money from you, then I deserve to have a full conversation about where are you, what's happening, how will this help, how will this not help? And if that person is not willing, then you can't borrow from me, you know? And so that's another thing to consider is that like, you know, are you having these open conversations as a millennial too, when it comes to your money?
Well, having to say no to your family members is also extra added anxiety because I have severe, money anxiety. One, because I am that for my family. I pay mortgage. I pay other people's mortgage. I pay a lot of things. But what you did mention too is how do you get someone to face, or even you know, to face your financial truth? Especially boomers who have a hard time with sitting down and talking about finances, period.
Because it's not your business.
It's
right?
not my business.
Well, that's for the boomer, right? Exactly. Meanwhile, I'm a whole grown 40-something-year-old, but I'm a child.
paying it.
You need my help, but it's not my business. It feels like it's my business now. That's the real thing my therapist said. My therapist was like, if you have to have a seat at the table, you have to be willing to have a voice too.
Yes.
You can't just cut a check.
Exactly.
You gotta have a voice in the matter.
Yes.
It's so hard for boomers to have the conversation with their own children.
Yes.
To even sit down with them and tell them the truths about how they've been handling their finances, because I guess they don't want to be judged, and they don't want to seem like they failed.
Yes.
You know, at finances. So how do you get people to sit down with their like financial truths?
So you have to lean in to you have to lean into circumstances. So if it's a mom, a dad, auntie, uncle, whatever, when something happens, it's a perfect time to lean in. So let's just say, unfortunately, grandma or grandpa passes away. That's actually a perfect time to sit down and say, wow, you know, grandpa didn't have a will. That was a really hard time. I don't want that to be. Can we sit down? You know, like, because a will literally is a template. I found an attorney. She's going to share the template with you, and you could just add and subtract the things that you want, and we can get this done within 24 hours because people are open emotionally to that, you know, or like, such and such. Oh, you know, did you know Brenda lost her house to foreclosure? That's crazy. Well, what do we need to do to make sure that's never you? So you're having these kind of like micro conversations leading up, and they're not really trying to hear you, but they hear you. Right. You know, and then when those things happen, it's really like a perfect time to really lean in and honestly, like, milk that emotion of it to be like, let's move here. So,
right.
Because my dad is in his 80s, and I was like, Daddy, you need to update your will. Later. I'm like, sir, we're already on God's borrowed time, you know, because the average person lives to, I think, 75. So right now, every day is literally a blessing. You wake 75. Up, it's a blessing. Yeah, that's what I think that's it's the average. So every day is a blessing at 82, 83 years old. There is no potential later. We're here now. And it took unfortunately, for my husband to pass away 2 years ago because he died suddenly from an aneurysm. And then when that happens, I was like, you need to get a will. I can't tell you how many of my friends, their parents got wills after that. Because they were like, he was 41. They were like, if he can pass away, because he didn't have a will, because we were like, oh, later. And so within a week, my parents had a will signed, notarized. Because even in that time, I was just like, I don't want the confusion for you and for us if something happens to you. And so those are the times to lean in. It's unfortunate, but it's hard for people to get clarity until something serious really happens. But they probably would have never done that had I not pushed during that time.
It's real. And I think especially for like a lot of Black folks, like, we aren't learning about finances in school. Mm-hmm. Like, I think one of my biggest frustrations is like with this whole, like, as educated as my parents taught me to be, I've been in private school, public school, undergraduate, graduate degree, and I still will sit down in my finances and feel like I have like a 5th grade education when it comes to money. Like, I never feel more dumb and just more like I'd never feel more dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, and I'm like, why am I in debt for this graduate degree? And I'm stupid like this. Like this don't make no sense to me.
Because they're not teaching it in schools. Well, except for New Jersey, because I got the Budgetnista law passed.
I know that.
Which makes
Help
financial
the kids out, because we both went to school in New Jersey public schools now. Me and
needed
Scottie.
you then.
We needed you then.
I know.
No,
Meanwhile, I don't know how taxes work.
Yes.
I don't know how taxes work.
I don't know how taxes work. And I'm a freelancer now. They ain't telling me we're going to have corporate jobs. Like all these things that are like...
So one, I will say that there's a big shift happening in schools now.
Okay, that's good to know.
So,
thank you. I can rant. I can be like, and another thing, and this is wrong because
New Jersey already has like a law for high school, which a lot of schools now. Like I want to say we're up to like 22 states where it's mandatory some sort of financial education in high schools. And so New Jersey, I fought for middle schools, and I'm really fighting now even for elementary schools. I want the moment you step into public school in New Jersey, from preschool all the way up till senior year, that you're getting some form of financial education, so you're not walking blindly into college age or adulthood, And so that is like, that's what we're fighting for. But like the middle school, that law has already passed, A1414, the Budgetnista law. And so now it's on, the onus is on us to self-educate. So whether it's, I have a podcast, Brown Ambition, maybe you listen to a podcast, maybe you have a favorite YouTuber, maybe it's a book, like my new book, Made Whole. Like it's going to be up to you to self-educate in a way that resonates with you. Because the thing with financial education and any new thing, that there is a language that you need to learn that you only learn from inundating yourself. Because you're like, wait, there's a 401k, a Roth IRA, what is that? A SEP. But after a while, if you
say letters,
truly,
I remember the Roth. Something about the IRA.
But
I don't have to be.
You have to normalize. So that's why, honestly, if you're listening to this podcast, that means you like podcasts. So tell yourself, I am going to integrate at least one financially friendly podcast into the mix, so I could start to be like, oh. You hear it enough times, you're like, oh, yeah, the Roth. Yep. High yield savings. Yep. Think about, I think about how I looked in high school and how long it took me to figure out my hair situation, get my skin together, right? Like to lash or not to lash. Right? We take all this, how my brow. So it took you 4 years to get your brow shape down. Right. You could listen to a daggone financial podcast to get yourself together. And so cause you have to think about how long it took to adjust to what is my style? How do I feel about myself? How do I wear my hair? It's the same thing, that it's just going to take time to introduce that to yourself over and over. And then after a while, you'll say, oh, it will click on, but it's not going to be a one-off. It's going to be this consistently adding these things to your life. So everything is cumulative. And so that's really the key. Because if you start now, your older self will thank you. The sooner you start, the better. And especially if you're kind of like the breadwinner for your whole family, that's a lot of pressure and stress. I know, because sometimes I feel some kind of way, because every time we go out to dinner, don't nobody take out their wallet. I'd be like, we're not even going to pretend no more. My baby sister Lisa be like, girl.
It's the way my siblings will look at me like.
Not even a reach.
Not
a big reach.
No,
I got it.
Yes.
About the tip.
At least
helping with the tip.
I mean, at
the
least
tip is getting higher and higher these days.
Please.
That 20% would do a lot.
For real. At least I have a sister Tracy that's 2 years younger than me. At least she'll pretend let me get my bag. Lisa's like, girl, put your hand down. We ain't even pretend. Lisa's the baby, so she's like, girl, you ain't even got to.
She's the way you thinking.
She was like, not up in here. We not pretend up in here. Hey, right. Tiff. I'm like, dang, the Uber, the food, and here's the thing. I have been ultimately blessed. So I don't mind. And it's my sisters, and we can make a joke out of it, but it can turn into that for everybody if you're not careful. Cause I know, Sylvia, people, I got so many Nigerian cousins in my DM. Hello. Your father is my second cousin's wife's sister-in-law from the village. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Namdi. Not today, Namdi. I don't. Chukubu, I don't have. I'm like, wow. So you want to be like, so I am mindful about putting my blinders on, but I'm also much better at, like, therapy has helped tremendously about setting boundaries. I mean, when I say tremendously, because I definitely was like the rollover. I had no boundaries. You could take. But that just comes from a feeling of like not being worthy enough to say I get to have two, so that's like that work before the work, because money is like the way we navigate money is not really about the money. It's about how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself. I felt because I had made financial mistakes in the past that I was not, I was still beating myself up like, well, you don't deserve to have nice things, Tiffany, because look what you did before. But let it be like my family, friends, sister, my niece, my nephew. Oh, whatever y'all need. Oh, not you, sis. You're still on punishment from 2019, from 2000.
Give yourself.
Yes. And so that was huge, forgiving myself. I mean, huge. Dr. Green taught me you did the best you had with the knowledge in front of you, Tiffany. That's it. And so look at you now making better choices with the tools that you currently have. You had limited tools then. So we're going to forgive that, Tiffany, for doing the best she could. And so like that was huge, like learning to forgive myself, to say, you made those mistakes. Okay, and now here we are making better choices. And guess what? You're going to continue to make mistakes because it is the nature of being human. And we're going to forgive ourselves each time and do better and better each time.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a good way to just transition into your new book, okay?
That's why it's called Made Whole.
I'm so mad by this Out of Reach. I'm all tied in.
What inspired the second book?
So it is the companion to my New York Times bestseller.
Talk about it. Say it. Getting
some
good
respect
with money, girl.
Right? And you know how people be like Emmy Award winner. Meanwhile, they were 2 years old. They're like, I'm still an Emmy Award winner. Call me that.
No, I'm not.
No, for life.
For life.
So I wrote Get Good with Money where it came out about 2 years ago, and it's done. So we're almost 300,000 copies sold. Incredible. And and I thought, I think of Get Good with Money as kind of like a textbook. You know what I mean? So it's like everything you need to know about these 10 components to what I call financial wholeness. So that is budgeting, savings, debt, credit, income, investing, insurance, your net worth, your financial team, and estate planning. But what I found is that not everyone was doing the work. It's like you have this textbook, but they were like, so great read, now what? So I thought, well, let me do this companion book where it's the 10 steps to financial wholeness, but in each chapter, I give you the opportunity to do the work. There's a reason why when you're in high school and middle school and elementary school, you get homework. It's because the only way to actually solidify the knowledge and to make the change stick is to do the work, And so you do the chapter and then here's the space to do the work. Not only that, it's like, here's the information. Here's what it looks like when you do the work properly. Here's the space to do the work, for every single chapter. And then too, what I did was I asked people who read Get Good with Money, which steps really helped you? Can you tell me your story? And then I included their story in each chapter. So if you're feeling a little discouraged, you're like, oh, look at Wendy. Wendy did it. So can I. Oh, look at Carla. Carla did it. So can I. And so you also get this kind of encouragement from people who have been where you are, did the work, and now their lives are better. And so that's why I wrote it, because I wanted to give people the tools to actually get busy, and do the work.
They first had to understand the terms. I think you have a very good way. With Get Good with Money, you had a great way with explaining all this money lingo and money talk and what is it that we're supposed to be doing. And now to have apply it on the work, in a workbook is something I'm doing my little work.
Good. Good. Okay. I love that.
I'm doing a brag book. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
See, you would know what that was if you had read the book, listeners.
Yes. Listen, Scottie, give it. Give it.
No, honey. I need money in this bank.
It's giving front of the class. It's giving front of the class.
Right? It's giving hand raised A+. No, but I love that. And honestly, because that's really the key, right? Is that I either got to make financial mistakes now? Of course I still do. Of course I still do. But I am always open and reaching for more education. I have a financial team around me that I'm like, I just read about a thing, Anjali, who is my personal financial advisor. a certified financial planner, and she will walk me through, what does that mean? I have an accountant where I'm like, literally, I'll say, how do the white boys not be paying taxes? What's that about? Literally, I'll say that. And she's
I
like,
would
well,
like to just park right there.
I mean, because it seems cute over there. And I feel like I'm slumming it, paying for every little thing. And they're like, well, here are some of the things, And so the key in really going from wherever you want to be, from wherever you are to wherever you want to be, is that you have to have a guide. Someone, the fastest way to get to where you are to where you want to be is through someone else. There has to be a guide, someone who says, I am here on the other side. I was where you are. Let me walk you through the steps so you don't have to figure it out on your own. Because certainly you could do it on your own, but it's going to be really difficult. And so that's what I want to be. I was a school teacher, and now I'm this financial educator that I want to be your guide to say, focus here. Here are the steps. I'm at a place now where if I didn't want to work anymore, I can maintain my current lifestyle and I wouldn't have to work anymore. This is from, right, 15 years. I know, isn't that crazy?
Wow.
I'm a rich African auntie, if I'm being honest, okay? And so, but, the fundamentals are like, but I couldn't be here without this financial wholeness fundamentals, those 10 steps, that like, if I didn't learn how to earn, if I didn't learn how to invest, if I didn't learn how to manage my debt, where now I'm debt free. I have I live in the house that I live in now that I renovated with my husband, my late husband, and there's no mortgage here. And I recently bought a condo like earlier this year. Beautiful. Scottie, I don't know if you're familiar with Mount Prospect. In Newark. It's like this really beautiful, like 100 years, because I love a historic home. My home is 100 years old. It is like, if this was in New York City, you're looking at $5-6 million. Here in Newark is $500,000, but I bought it cash. Okay, because I was
know.
Liquid.
Oh,
Cash. Look, Sylvia taking a drink. She said, yeah, I'm about to say it's a beautiful, I'm renovating it fully now. Again, cash. So I am debt free like a toddler. I have 2 properties. I had a third one and I sold it.
You looking for a tenant?
I don't have no car note, no mortgage, no. And I'm not saying that like everyone is going to get to a place where they can do that, but the purpose of helping you achieve those 10 steps to financial wholeness is that it is a solid foundation that you could build the rest of your financial life. You lose your job, you could be okay. There's a recession, you could be okay. Inflation, you could be okay. Interest rates are really high. When it comes to borrowing, you can be okay. And so that is what Made Whole is about, is those 10 financial wholeness steps that if you accomplish, achieve, and maintain them, these things can happen and you can be okay. And if you want to grow wealth, you have this foundation to not only grow wealth, but to maintain and keep it, because your girl will never be broke again. Okay.
Listen, okay. I love, you are so thorough. I love, because when I tell you, you will like answer a question and be like, pop, 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 pop. And I'm like, yes.
Right.
And it's like, but it's expert level and we're here, right? So I'm just going to just take it step by step for a second, because you covered a lot of ground. And but again, elementary school, we didn't have it.
For real.
So you talk about these 10 steps to financial wholeness and how it will get you through no matter, because right now, so many people are struggling financially.
Yes.
So how do you encourage people to even want to build healthy habits with money and have like a good relationship with money during these times when it doesn't seem like it's possible to hit all 10 steps?
You won't.
It's like I want to save, I want to invest, but I'm living paycheck to paycheck. The groceries keep going up. I can't get out of this paycheck to paycheck cycle, like to even get the money to try to do to make my money make money.
So let me dial back to Tiffany that from 2009-10 when I first started the Budgetnista. I think I made gross $10,000 that year. That means gross. That means my take home was about $3,500. It was only by God's grace and unemployment. I said, woo, child. Unemployment, that was my paycheck. I said, ooh, let me see. You apply every week. You're like, yes, send me my $1,500.
Been there. Been there.
Right. And then, so there was a moment when I was like, all I could do is pay bills and I don't even have enough of that.
Right.
So I call that, there's broke, Broke is when you're like, oh, I don't have no extra money. And, you know, things are really tight, but you maybe got a little bit to save, a little bit. And then there's broke when it's like, there's no change in the cracks of my couch. I spent it. There's nothing.
Right.
And so I have been broke when I'm like, there is no excess. And matter of fact, what I'm actually bringing in, some of y'all ain't going to get paid. And so if you're in a position where you're broke, you have to kind of list your bills and say to yourself, what are the things I must pay to maintain my health and safety? Yeah. Everybody else is going to have to wait. Sorry. Like, this is what I have to do to maintain my health and safety.
That's what I have it highlighted.
You see that broke one? Yep. It's in the book.
I don't pay for this thing. Am I going to be unhealthy or unsafe?
Yes. Because everybody's will kick rocks. You can wait. And now here's the thing. The people that you owe are going to be mad and they're going to want to harass you on the phone. But here's the thing. If they know, like I know, not up in here, Satan. Because I will go right to Staples and spend my last 75 cents to fax you a cease and desist letter, which I give, I think, a link in the book that says, I know I owe you, but you cannot call me, but you can send me a letter or email as it relates to what I owe. So that way your phone doesn't ring and my phone. When I was in that turmoil, they used to call the daycare center. Can you imagine? Hello, can we please speak to Miss Tiffany? Hello? You owe. Click. Right? I'm like, let me get the baby's answer. Jaheem, answer that phone for me real quick. Tell that man, Miss Tiffany.
We all had those numbers that used to pop up on our parents' phone. Like, just hit decline.
Yes.
We don't pick that up.
So I was like, no, there's a cease and desist letter that I give for free. There's a toolkit that comes with the book for free. And I have it that, like, this is a letter that literally I use. And you write down all the numbers you don't want them to call. Not my mama, not my sister, nobody. But you can email me. You do want to give them the option to reach out to you. Email me and send me letters. That's less stressful for me. So that's one. If you're broke, I'm only paying this. I am going to call the companies that I'm not paying and say, what can you do? But ultimately, if they don't want to provide any sort of pause or assistance, whatever, we're just giving you a heads up. I don't have it. As soon as I do, I'll hit you back. And sidebar, here's my cease and desist. Don't call me. Because you're allowed to say that. Just because you owe money doesn't mean people are allowed to mistreat you and harass you down to the ground.
Harass you, absolutely.
Down to the ground.
Because your self-worth is already low.
It's already.
Allow it.
And some of them talk real crazy. And I'm like, you know what?
Crazy.
I'm already feeling bad. I mean, it could be whatever, sis. Come see me.
Right.
You know, but then
like you could never get out of it either.
And that's what I felt. I remember, like, you know, moving back home. I was 30. I was 29 turning 30, and it was my 30th birthday. And I was crying in my middle school bed because I remember thinking the last time I slept in this bed, I was like in 8th grade, and I used to babysit, and I had a paper route. I had more money in 8th grade than 30-year-old Tiffany. I was like, wow. You know, I think then I had saved up maybe like $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever. I had more money then than when I was grown at 30. And so once you get past the broke, so the only way to get past the broke stage is you have to figure out how to make additional money. You know, like you have to figure out. So is it that, you know, I like to make money that's related to like a skill set or degree or certificate that I have. So that way I don't have to learn nothing new. So I was already a teacher, so I was babysitting like crazy. Everybody with kids, you know, you want to go out this weekend. Let me watch the baby for $25 an hour, $30. You know, like I was babysitting, I was tutoring. You know, me, I lived on Craigslist, you know, which is dodgy as it is. Like, let me hear the baby on the other line before you have me come out here. You can skin me alive, child.
Hearing the baby.
Right? FaceTime me the baby so I know there's a baby in the mix. Okay, baby Jonathan, I'll be there in a minute.
Right.
You know, but I was tutoring, I was babysitting. I was doing all the side work just to get past the broke stage where it's like I'm making enough to cover my most basic bills. I mean, I learned to do my own hair. That is your focus in the broke stage, is don't worry about nothing else but getting down to the bare bones and how do I make more money? What does that look like? It doesn't have to be your dream job. It doesn't have to be this is going to be a business. We're just here to make more money. You know, there are all these apps. A friend of mine just lost his job, and I was telling him, I was like, these guys came to my new condo the other day to just bring something from downstairs to upstairs. I bought a vanity for the bathroom, and I use this app called GoShare, and it's just like GoShare is just this app where guys who have a truck or who are strong or whatever, you can literally just hire strong people, strong guys to, like, if you buy something from HomeSense and it's a huge mirror, the guy with the truck will drive it. He'll pick up another guy and they'll bring it upstairs. It was like $100. And I told him, I was like, if it was me and I was a strong dude and you got a truck, you better get on GoShare. You could do two or three of these a day, make $500 a day, until you could get on your feet, So it's going to look like that. And then once you start to make a little bit more money in a more stable way, then you can start to look at what does a more robust budget look like. Don't worry about savings. Don't worry about investing. Don't worry about retirement. It's just step by step, like, okay, here's what my overall budget looks like. And as you make a little bit more, because that is the point is always not to spend as little as possible, but to expand your ability to make more. As you make a little bit more, hopefully, it's like, okay, what can I do about saving a little bit? What can I do to eke out a little bit for a retirement? So to your point, Sylvia, that the point is not to do all of the things at once. It's to just one thing. It might take you a year, 2 years, 3 years to master that one thing. And then the next thing. And then the next thing. That's why I went from broke Tiffany to I'm a legit millionaire now in 15 years. It's because I just focused on the one thing. I could save nothing. I couldn't afford my bills. But I was like, I'm going to learn to earn. Not enough people like make that a focus. How do you make money? You can't budget your way to wealth. I know I'm the budgetnista, but that's just basic management. Like, you have to be focused on, like, how do I learn to make money? Yes.
Hustlenista as well.
Yeah. And in the beginning I hustled a lot. And, after a while I got really good at learning how to make money because it's a mindset shift. I was literally just talking to my friend D about this the other day. He was like, I never had like more than like $20,000 saved or whatever. And I said, it took me a while. The first $100,000 in business gross, I think I took home maybe like 30,000 that year. That first 100 was the hardest because I could not fathom making $100,000 in a year. That's like $8,300, $8,300 a month. Like, how do you do that? Like, I could not fathom. But I remember that was my goal. And so I tried all these different things via the Budgetnista, like maybe it's books, spokesperson work, speaking engagement. What does that look like? And once I cracked open that $100,000 in a year, I was like, okay, that took like 5-6 years to get there. And then it took like 2-3 years to get to my first million because of the lessons I learned to get to the 100,000. It was a mindset shift. I was like, to get to $1 million is $83,000 a month, which seems crazy, but I was like, but I learned that I can get paid more for speaking engagements. If I can, like, I have a great audience, maybe I can offer something to them for like $50 a month. I learned all of these skill sets to get to $1 million in 1 year. And then it took only, I want to say, a year to get to 10 million in a year. But do you see that there are all these lessons along the way that I had to pick up? It was this huge shift in a mindset where I was like, okay, when I made my first 10 million in 1 year, gross, not take home, because I would not be here. I'm like, sorry girls, love you, but I'm in Dubai right now. But, so when I got to that, I was like, okay. And so that's what it looks like with your money in general, not even if you're a business owner or not, that it's like there's a shift in mindset that needs to happen. And the only way to shift that mindset is to expose yourself to new ways of thinking, new ideas via new people. And that's why you're listening.
Let me talk to Millions, Tiffany, real quick. Because both of us now have financial advisors, but and it's been a game changer, absolutely. But what should people be looking for when considering like money professionals? Like accountants, and like what are the questions that need to be asked in order to get the right people on your side and to be working with you?
So this is good. So inside of Made Whole, I created this sheet called My So-Called Financial Life. And what it is that, like, when I was interviewing, I've interviewed maybe 15 people to look for a financial advisor. And I realized that as I was interviewing people, I would forget information. So I said, I'm going to create this sheet where I fill everything out and send it to them ahead of the interview. So it doesn't matter if I forget to say it, they have it. And what I learned first and foremost about filling out this sheet, which was like, what are your financial goals? I just came up with the questions and the components, like, how much money do I have saved? Do I have a retirement account? How much do I make annually? What are my financial goals and challenges? So I would send it. And then what I loved, it was like initially there were 20 people who I was going to interview, but 5 of them said, based upon the sheet that you sent me, thank you so much. Like it didn't have like my bank account information, that I'm actually not going to be a fit. So that's when I was like, okay, one of the best things to do before you work with a financial advisor in particular is if you can send them this about yourself, they can self-qualify or disqualify themselves. So I didn't have to waste time. That was huge. So that was huge. That's one. And then 2, I was looking for a financial advisor. There are some, besides the money component, you want to make sure that is it a cultural fit. So like you, Sylvia and myself, my financial advisor is first generation, because when I say I have to send money home, I don't need, Tom to be like, I don't understand. Why do you need to send money home? It's like, yeah, right? Like I need, cause Anjali's like, because she's like, girl, Anjali, she's Indian. So she's like, girl, say less. You know what I mean? And so you want to also make sure that there's like a cultural and personality fit, when you're interviewing. And then 3, you also want to make sure that they work with people like you. So I chose Anjali because not only is she a CFP, a certified financial planner, which is the gold standard of financial advisors. Not only is she that, but she also was a CPA, a certified public accountant. So she's like, she had the business side. So most of Anjali's people are like me. They are business owners as well as this personal person. So that's why I chose her over this other woman who I really like named Amy. Amy was great, but most of her clients were just regular, everyday, run-of-the-mill folks. Like, a doctor, an attorney, whatever, that's great, teachers. But Anjali was like, most of my people are business owners as well. So I can actually give you advice on the business side as well as the personal side. I was like, okay. So getting very clear about who is your ideal client, who do you normally work with, to see if that's a match. Because I want that when Anjali learns something new with her, she has a client, that makes like $50 million a year. I'm like, maybe one day, but she might learn something new working with him. And then she gonna bring it on back to the rest of us. Like, I learned this thing, but if I had a woman who told me I wasn't her ideal fit because she mostly worked with women who were divorced, which I thought that's awesome because there are financial challenges specifically for divorced women or people who are getting divorced that she's gonna learn this stuff, but it's not gonna apply to me, And so you wanna make sure of that too. And then last and probably most important, how do they get paid? You ideally want a fee-only advisor. That means they only get paid by you. And so I have that checklist in Made Whole. And so here's the reason why. Because a fee-only means that like I'm paid to show up for you. If you buy, say like a life insurance or an insurance policy, fee-only people don't get any money from that insurance company. Fee-based or any other, or commission-based, they might, meaning, did I suggest that policy to you because you needed it or because they gave me $100?
Cut.
You see what I mean? Yeah. So you want to be mindful. So fee only is like, girl, whatever you choose, it literally does not make my pockets any richer. It's like, you can choose left, right, side to side. There's no kickback for me, And so you want to make sure fee only is super critical. Yeah. So just consider those things for your financial advisor.
That's so real because also the truth is that like even when you're paid a fee, like it's expensive.
Yes.
Like I think to me the hardest thing about making more money is that like to manage money costs money. And then it's like that's taken away from the savings. Like it's like I either have this 5% to save or it's your fee. Yes. And so like even like the way I started with advisors, it was like tax. I had to prioritize taxes because I was freelancing. I didn't know how to do taxes and and I had to figure that out before I could afford like I'm still at the place where I'm like, okay, thankfully the person I finally landed with taxes, shout out to Belva. She does, and to your point, she does other creators. She does creators of color. Saw her at CultureCon with some of her clients. I'm like, you talk to Belva too? She do you too? Like,
that's what you're looking for.
It's what you're looking for. It's my people. Right. You're in my circle. But then also I think a lot of times we fall victim to like Twitter LLC experts or like tips online because you can't afford the person with the CPA whatever, you know what I mean? And so you find yourself on LLC Twitter
and then you find yourself being audited. Okay.
And then you find yourself being audited, scammed, all the above. So like what's one piece of money advice that you'd like to set? Like is there something like that you see shared on either Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, that you like they are you want to set the
They're
record
wrong.
straight about,
And
like,
you're going to jail.
wrong, and
You're going to
I want y'all to stop telling people
Right.
to do this. Please.
Well, two things. If you hear someone say, "Let me teach you how to run this play," girl, run away. Run away, because so many of these finance bros like, "Oh, we're gonna run this play." Yeah, they're gonna play on you. You know, I mean, that's like, it's like a thing in the financial space.
Football.
Yes, because what they're
because
because I remember during the pandemic, everybody was like had these like their coaching programs, 10,000, 20,000, 50. They was all hitting a lick off the Black community, and it really pissed me off because it was Black people doing it to Black people. And if you notice, you don't see me standing next to nobody in no pictures. They all try. I always see them like, "Oh, let's take a picture." No, so you can pretend, because they know that one, my audience trusts that I don't navigate from that space. So if I take a picture of you, you post it like, "Oh, Tiffany said such and such." No, I don't know. And I'm not partnering. Everybody wants to partner with me. I have 2 million women, you know, and I'm like, no, because I see how you navigate, you know, like, and like I have 4 real life blood sisters, and I could not stomach sleeping at night knowing that they would possibly follow advice that would put them in harm's way. So I can't do that to my other sisters either. Sorry, try again. You know, so that's one. You hear run that play, or if someone is saying that for this 60,000, they're going to teach you how to make millions and millions and millions and millions. Just ask yourself this, that like, I'm going to take a step back. If I already, you know, because people will claim like I made $100 million. Sir, why are you here then for my little punk 50,000? Because if it was me and I had 100 million, y'all wouldn't see. I would be ghost. I would be like Eve.
The way you keep telling us that you would not be here.
You are out of here.
Look at Eve, right? Eve from remember Eve that married herself a billionaire? We ain't seen Eve since.
Oh yeah, we ain't
right
seen
about
Eve.
it.
Because
Right
that's what
about
money looked like when you got so much of it.
Who's that girl that wears that
I mean,
That
Eve is
girl
out here
is
looking like wealth, smelling like, I mean, she done had her baby, so she said we extra locked in. Like,
Right.
because when you have that much, you're not scrambling for nobody's 50 here, 20 here. No. So that's one that like take a step back and really ask yourself, does this make sense? Yeah. So yeah, those are the things.
You
like,
saving lives. It's
Yes.
tricky. It's
Saving lives.
tricky, man. It's
Right.
a tricky, slick business out
Yes.
here.
You gotta
man.
save one last life, me, because the holidays are approaching. Okay, so there's a lot of splurging going on, and there's a lot of buying gifts for your loved ones, and also buying a little something for yourself. What advice?
The way you snuck that in there.
Because I
It's like
can't.
they said it quick, we wouldn't catch it.
What advice do you have for our listeners and also myself on making wise money choices during this time, during
So-
this holiday?
Two things, right? So I would set aside whenever I know I have like I am currently renovating my condo. So I put money into a separate account so I can see it as it declined. You know, like went down. So I'm like, okay, I'm setting aside $100,000 to renovate the condo, $2,000 for Christmas shopping, whatever it is. I will open up, because savings accounts are free largely to open. I will open up that account, and so I know this is my budget. And so I'm slowly but surely like, okay, all right, we're getting close. I didn't get my bed yet. Let me slow down, because, you know, I can see the money. So setting aside that money separately is going to be really helpful to be like, this is how much money I'm setting aside. This is what I'm going to do. I also every year, since I have 4 sisters, we do this thing called draw names or Elfster, where I'm like, I'm not buying every sister something. You know, so I get one sister. We've been doing this since college when we was broke. So you get one sister, and Elfster will like send you an email and say, hey, this year your sister is Karen, and here are the 4 things she says she might like. And then we set a budget. Like, okay, like when we were like having a hard time, $25 max for whatever present you're gonna get, $100 max, whatever that looks like. So if you have a big family, all the cousins, whatever, Elfster, draw names, these are free, fun online tools where everybody kind of puts their name in, and it will literally generate to you like who your person is. And then what I love is that every year it'll say, hey, Scottie, hey, Sylvia, it's that time of year again. Are you guys, you know, the same group, are you guys going to do it? And you just say yes. And it'll say, well, they know who you got last year, so they will give you somebody different this year.
I know your sisters be like, give me Tiffany.
I know they do, because I'm the generous one.
Damn, I ain't get Tiffany.
I know, but once I started to get money, I'm not gonna lie. When I started to get money, then I do a sister gift every year, because you know when you got money, it was like so.
Tiffany, I know.
I do.
Say, Tiffany,
Okay.
you try to tell me that you don't buy presents for
No,
everybody?
I do a sister.
Everybody.
I do a sister gift. Like I would say 2 or 3 years ago, when I started to really come into money, I started to do a sister gift because one of my friends, his friend works for Tiffany's. And so they get a 50% discount. Don't take it away. I'm not supposed to say. I know. 50? Anyway, I don't know who that person is. I just heard. don't, because they'll mess up your whole
sign language. Do you know ASL?
And so I get a sister gift where I get us all the same, like a necklace or whatever. So, because it was our first blue box. So this is maybe like my third year kind of doing that like I'll get a sister gift. I remember last year I was like, oh, maybe I'll get us like, I don't know, like something else. My sisters were like, yeah, no, we prefer Tiffany Stinks. I was like, I'm so...
But did you did that change happen when you became a millionaire? Or
so yeah, I see. The thing is, I did not upgrade my life.
You are.
Yes, well, I didn't, because I was officially a millionaire at age 37. I'm now 44. I did not start to upgrade my life visibly for myself until maybe like 3 years ago. It took me a while to even start to fly first class. I just felt very uncomfortable about it. Like I was going to go back to like Tiffany sleeping in her middle school bed. So it took me a long time. And so now if anything, my struggle is underspending. My financial advisor, Anjali, was like, Tiffany, you work really hard. You make really good money. You're not spending enough monthly in a way that would indicate you are like living, more fully. And I'm like, yeah, but what about, she's like, girl, you saved the money for the year. We've invested the max. You paid for the house. You don't have any bills. And so that's my struggle. Now is sometimes leaning in. And so, yes, I'm in a space now where I spend without thinking fully, because I know that whatever it is, I'm not spending $10,000, I remember the first time I went to Whole Foods and I actually didn't look at the register. I was like, oh, am I rich now? Because I was like, whatever it is, I got it. Wait, well, how much is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. But when I didn't, I had my strict budget. I said, hey, sisters, we're just doing this exchange. And they were all for it. And then I would make a list of everyone I thought to spend money on. And then I would honestly go online and try to figure out what I was going to get them and price it out. So I knew what my budget ought to be. So that helped significantly. And then last, a tool that I really love, it's called a credit builder loan. And so the way it works is that you quote unquote borrow money from like a lot of credit unions have this. You could borrow money. I wouldn't do more than $1,000, but typically between $500 to $1,000. You borrow money from this credit union for a credit builder loan, and they don't give you the actual money. They put it in a savings account for you that earns interest. And every month, if it's $500 a month, you pay it back. I think at $500, you're looking at like $41 a month. You pay it back, you pay it back, you pay it back. And then by this time next year, if you've done that, they're going to give you your money back plus interest with a higher credit score because you paid down and paid off a loan. And so it's a great way to like kind of like save for the season by like this fake out loan where it's like, I actually didn't borrow money. They held it for me, let it grow interest. Because I paid it, they actually had to give me my money back, and I can use this lump sum now. And so it's just I really love the credit builder loans because it's like, it's forced savings, you earn a little interest, and your credit score gets to go up all in one thing. So but I would probably do it in not December, maybe you can, but in November. So that way, when you get your money back, it's November, you can hit the ground running to purchase gifts with the money, that you put in your credit builder loan. So that's another like tip to like save money for savings month at a time.
That's a great tip.
That is.
I be knowing.
Right. You be knowing a thing or two, girl. I'm just saying but no, honestly, this has been so helpful. Like I can't emphasize enough how much everybody needs to go out and get made whole because the breakdowns are the breaking down. Yes. But like I think I wanted to ask like if there's maybe one final takeaway that maybe we didn't hit that you feel like is important for listeners who are starting out on this financial wholeness journey.
Well, my final takeaway is that money is a team sport. That you should not be doing it by yourself. It is really overwhelming because you do it by yourself. You're going to be punching the air, cussing yourself out. I swear, some of the ways that we talk to ourselves, we would never let somebody talk to us that way. Nope. Be like, oh, on site, girl, because you got a loud mouth. Yeah. Because I remember I was in that bed. I was like, you so stupid. Look at you, broke. Look at you. I'm like, let my friend call me that. I'm like, oh, I'm broke and stupid? All right, sis.
That's right.
Right? But, so having... and it doesn't mean that the people have to be financially savvy, but having supportive people around you, maybe it's your work husband, your bestie, your podcast partner. Like, I love the way you both said, we have financial advisors. That means you probably talked about it. That like, I want everyone should have a safe space to talk about their money. And inside Made Whole, I invite you to my Dreamcatcher space, which is like I have a number of online communities where it's safe to talk about money with people who are going through the same thing or who have solved the thing that you're challenged with. So there's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And so I challenge you to go with others. And if you don't have a safe space in your regular life, allow me to provide a safe space for you.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Tiffany. This has been such a good conversation. There was so many gems. I hope y'all replay this back with a notebook, get the notes app out, get the links in. We will definitely link to your book and the episode details. Thank you so much for joining us.
Can I share the link just for the people who are just listening?
Absolutely.
You sure can.
So, well, first, I am the Budgetnista on all the social platforms, and then thebudgetnista.com. But for the book, Made Whole, you can go to madewholeworkbook.com.
Love it. Mm-hmm. I love it. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Again, Made Whole. Do your work. Okay? The workbook. I'll be writing in this, highlighting and everything.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Tiffany.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate you.
Normally in this segment, we talk about what we're watching and loving on TV. And today we're sitting down with two people from one of our favorite shows we're loving right now, Rap Shit on Max. Hey, Aida Osman and KaMillion, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I've been a fan for a very long time. I'm really excited. I listen to your podcast, so it's nice to be a guest. Nice to be a guest.
Oh my gosh. We are so happy to have you here. Oh my gosh. I mean, we've been loving Rap Shit. That's first. Okay. Huge congrats on like the second season.
Thank you.
Because so far, I am enjoying myself.
Good.
I am laughing so loud. These writers, let me tell y'all something.
No, the writers are cutting up.
Cutting the fuck up. Because truly, I haven't laughed this loud like with any show in a very long time.
That is the best compliment you could give a comedy show. That just made my whole heart smile. And I really appreciate that. I feel like this season, all the characters are funny in their own separate ways. And it's really solidified. And especially with the three of us being new actresses, we finally have found these characters and these people and know how to joke within their worlds. I agree with y'all. I'll be laughing too, like I wasn't there when we filmed it. Like it's new.
It was great. This show centers around two women, okay? Shawna and Mia, coming up in the rap game in Miami, okay? This whole episode that we're doing right now is about money. Making it, losing it, keeping it. And we all know that she was out here scamming. So
that's not confirmed. Just because you've seen it on the TV, you believe everything you see on TV, Scottie? That's crazy.
Talk to us about the moment where you all thought you were about to have your big break in the industry, but realized, oh wait, this ain't it. This ain't the one.
Oh,
I think Rap Shit was the turning point to where I'm like, is this shit is real? Oh, we're at press. We're doing this. Oh, we're about to do this show. Oh, this shit is coming out. Oh, there's a billboard with my face on it. This is happening. And I Rap Shit was like literally the biggest secret I kept from people because I felt like every time I told somebody that something was about to come through for me, it crashed, and it didn't happen. So like when I even in this audition process, I didn't tell nobody until I completely booked the role. My mom, like nobody knew that I booked it except for this truck driver nigga. I was trying to get some money from him, and I was trying to like have him invest in some shit. He was acting stingy, and I was like, "Okay, you gonna see?" Because I'm auditioning for this, and I'm gonna make it. And I got cast, so he's the only person that knew about it. But I just had to flex up on it real quick, and then when I got it, I broke up with him. Like,
manifested it with the truck.
Bye.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
I guess for me, it was I stopped doing stand-up after Corona started because there was no way for me to get on stages and do shows and stuff like that. And I moved to New York to be a stand-up. I moved to LA to do comedy. So I was just really confused. And then I was by myself. I had been living in LA for about 4 months. And luckily I was working at Keep It at the time. And I was in the Big Mouth writer's room. And then we had to go inside for about 2 years. And all my screenwriting experience, all my writer's room experiences were happening like just like this, like on this side of a laptop. So I wasn't interacting with other comedians and writers. That's what I'm talking about. How I didn't even really believe I was doing that shit for real. I was doing it on Zoom. I wasn't doing it in real life. So there were just times where I really started to lose hope and confidence in myself because I wasn't doing the thing that I came here to do. And that's why rap shit was a big blessing. We wrote the first season on Zoom as well. So I'm trying to pitch jokes and then it's like, and then people are like, what did you say? And I'm like, forget it, man. Fucking forget it, bro. Like, shit is
What's the breakout? What's the voice? What's that? Right, that's the
that was a good one. That was realistic.
that shit used to be so disheartening. And then we were lucky we got like a mini room where we wrote the show and kind of broke the story for the second season together. And that was the first time I wrote with people at a table for real. Like my jokes actually got heard, my pitches got heard, and niggas was still saying no. So, you know, I just had to get adjusted. And I just thought it wasn't gonna happen for me. So when the audition came through, I remember I seen Millie and she was like quiet and keeping to herself. But because I had been there to help write Mia and develop Mia, I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be Mia right there. There's not even a question. The other girls is great, they're beautiful, but they're not Mia. Right. And I remember wanting to talk to her immediately. She just had this very respectful, very mature, like I just knew she was talented looking at her and the way she was dressed. She had like a red bust down. She just looked good. I was like,
red bust down.
I was like, let me go run lines with her. Because if I want to be Shawna, I should probably go run lines with her. And yeah, so at times I was frightful, but God gave it. God, it's working out exactly in the favor of God, which is good for me.
Love you guys, how you guys interact with each other. I want to talk about the nature of you guys' friendship and also how has this show formed you guys' friendship? Like, what did y'all friendship look like?
Millie and I, we say this literally every interview, but every interview, everybody has to know that we are Cancer Gang and we're both Cancers.
Y'all be crying.
Nah.
Nah. Well, you be crying. Stop it. You don't be crying. Aida, you be crying.
I cry at Disney commercials.
That's like cancer shit. Nah,
I don't be crying.
Not me.
It's just like the worlds that we get to share with each other. Like in the past 2 years, she took me to a party where I seen Kodak Black for the first time, and I just took her to Camp Flog Gnaw Festival. I just love this like cultural exchange that we have because Shawna and Mia, they're kind of peculiar friends, but also when you see them, they make the most fucking sense. Yeah. And all the compliments that me and Millie would get about the show is y'all's chemistry is unheard of. Like, how are y'all already linked up like this? And that's a testament to her. She's very sociable, very funny, very friendly, very vulnerable. It's really easy to connect with Millie. I think, yeah, I feel that way about you. So I'm just really blessed that she's in my life. And I, again, get to have her by my side and learn from her and experience this crazy come up journey with her. So yeah.
I love that she is like, sometimes I can see what's on her brain. Like we'll be in a setting and we don't have to say words. We just know what time it is and we're on the same like thing, or we're in a scene and we might veer off or we might miss a line, but we keep going and we just catch each other. It's almost like a freestyle. Like we go back and forth. We just get it. Like she gets it. And she's young, but she's very like intellectual. You know, she can tap in with ghetto shit, but she also, is very book smart and you have a bright future.
Thank you, Millie. So do you. Yeah. My favorite thing about Millie, because I feel like there could be like weird actresses can just be weirdos, to be honest, especially on set with each other, your co-star. But like me and Millie will sit in each other's trailer and we'll talk right before a scene. I might be like, maybe you should try this joke. And she's like, well, maybe you should try this. Like we're trying to, as a unit, get the best scene together and like alley-oop each other and really try to set it up. And we want a successful show because me and her, we're not just acting and trying to be the best actresses. We're literally fighting for Black girls to have more television shows.
I love that. And I love this hearing you guys say that because the chemistry is palpable on the scenes.
Crazy.
I'm so happy that y'all made up by episode 3 because I was stressed. I didn't like it when y'all wasn't getting along. Right. It was hurting my heart. But it was a real. I think even the way that there's like tension and then it comes back together. Like you my bitch. You just be aggravating at times, and you aggravating. Like I thought that was such like a real way for friends to make up. Like it was really special, and I love seeing you guys do the duo thing, and that it's really that way in real life too. Like I think that's the only way you get that kind of energy on set.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you guys, what's one thing you love and one thing you can't stand about your character? So for like, what's one thing you love about your character and one thing you can't stand?
I like everything about Mia.
Hey, come on.
Period.
Come on.
I like her. I mean, I could say like everybody's on social media like, why you be bashing your baby daddy? But it's like sometimes you gotta do that. You can't be nice to these niggas. Like they don't appreciate that. They don't get that. They don't understand that. Like now that Mia's on her thing, now you wanna support me. Now you wanna understand and be a fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you remember like the first season when he was in the studio trying to act like he couldn't hear her like when he was in the studio, and it's like, baby, like where's the money? Like, so she supported his dreams until it's like, be realistic. Like I'm out here by myself, so I don't know. I like everything about Mia. Especially this season because she got the niggas.
Absolutely.
That
one nigga in there.
Which one, Scottie? Which one? Huh?
Which one you want, Scottie?
Who?
Yeah, Scottie. Come on.
Say it loud.
Which one is him? Huh?
The one that flew you out.
I bet.
Cash Chaser.
Cash Chaser. That's the one mistake Mia made. That's the only thing I said. Damn it, Mia. Maybe her text made me. Maybe her text finger's a little too fast. That's the one thing.
But I mean, what you said is very true. I think very few niggas fall in love with potential like us.
Yes.
A lot of women, including myself, is a Bobby should have builder type bitch.
Bobby should have builder.
And I really do feel like I can add to a nigga's life and want to try to see, make him see his own potential. But there is very few times where a man has seen my potential and been like, hey, let's cultivate, like let's work on this.
Let's invest.
No, I have to come already made. I have to come already, done.
And then when you come made, you too much. You too overqualified these days.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Especially now, like as we rise in a place like whatever, success is happening, money is happening, niggas be like, okay, I can't do shit for you, so bye.
Ida, something you love and if there's anything that you can't stand about your girl.
I mean, it's so many things to be irritated by with that woman. Shawna's fearless. I like that about her, and I think it might be the same side of the coin. Is I hate and love her fearlessness because bitch, you need to be scared sometimes. You need to chill the fuck out. Like, why would you grab that microphone and do that? Why are you stomping like a horse on the stage? Like, fear God, bitch. Fear God.
Fear God.
Exactly. So all the shit that Shawna does that sucks, that like I wish she would stop being so selfish, stop being so greedy, stop being a bad friend, stop being obsessed with success for success's sake. I'm like, damn, that was me like in 2019. And so it's cool that I can watch her evolve and watch her change and watch her become a better friend as I'm learning to become a better friend. Because I really didn't know how to show up for people until like this year. I didn't know how to show up in love and in a relationship until this year. I didn't know how to show up for myself until this year. So it's that process of therapy and committing to myself and everything that we was talking about earlier that I learned because of rap shit. So for a million reasons, Shawna is one of the biggest blessings in the world. And she also helped me live out my rap dreams without me having to go be a rapper. So I have to give her grace and thanks.
And also, I think there's a lot of heart in Shawna in what she does. Her passion. I see like when I watch her. By the way, when this came out, I cried. So because I'm in love with rap. Everybody knows I love hip hop. I wish I had something like this when I was like younger to watch. Because I was so obsessed, and I'm still obsessed with hip hop. I'm still obsessed with music, but I think growing up, it's a bit tainted now. I see a lot of things differently. But as a young girl growing up and watching something like this, I could just imagine where my mind could have went, you know, and as far as like how it could have expanded. But it was so beautiful to see that, because I love hip hop. There's so but there's just so much passion in Shawna that's like, you know, I have this gift, and her knowing that she has this gift is also something that is beautiful to see too. And so I absolutely love it. I love that you guys were able to sit with us and do this with us.
Me too.
This was great. What, Sylvia?
I was gonna say, because we had a different rap plan, but I feel like you guys have been so insightful. I feel like we should let them do the before we let you go. Like, I think maybe they might have something for the people.
I'm for that.
Are you for that? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, because
I'm
normally
for
when
it.
we have guests, we like to do that. I feel like you guys are good.
Okay.
So normally on the end of each episode, we do a before we let you go, which is like an affirmation or sometimes like some tough love or like a saying something that has gotten us through a hard time, or like this past week or whatever. It could be joy. It could be whatever. What is like a before you let you go that you guys would like to leave our listeners with? One from each of you.
For me, I'll make it short and sweet. If you want to do something, call yourself that thing, and boom, bitch, you are that thing. Like, stop waiting for somebody to call you a filmmaker, a writer, a rapper, a singer, whatever. Just go be in the practice of that thing, and boom, like, you are that thing. You don't got to be paid to do it. Like, I want to be a filmmaker. The next thing I want to do is make movies. Okay, so I got my little cousins together. I forced them to learn a script, and we went out. We made a shot list. I was a director. I got that shit done, and now can't nobody tell me I'm not a director or a filmmaker. So I really think it's just be confident in yourself and step into a position so that other people can see it, because people don't even call you that until somebody else call you it. So why don't you be the person that calls you that?
To piggyback off of that, manifest the life you want. Everything in my life, I've manifested it. I see it, and it is so, and I walk in it, you know? So it sounds cliche, but pray, and whatever you pray for, you got to believe it. Because if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. I don't care how much you pray, it's not going to happen. You have to believe what you're asking for. And the world is yours. It's your oyster. So.
Woo.
So thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
This was
Thank
so
you guys so much.
fun. So we are almost halfway through the season. Can't wait to see what happens next. Tell us where people can follow you guys at.
Jail. At jail.
Your character, yeah. Shawna.
Oh, she.
My username on everything is at Shut Up Aida. His name is spelled AIDA. At Shut Up Aida.
And you can follow me at ITSKAMillion. It's KaMillion. Also, I just dropped a new song called SUV. So make sure y'all stream that on all platforms.
Hey.
And yeah, watch us every Thursday. Watch it again. Keep streaming that shit.
Hang out with us.
Run it up.
I love it. Thank you guys. Oh, this is amazing.
You.
Hopefully we can get y'all back on here and talk about some more deep things.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah. Get a little
Thank
deep.
y'all.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye y'all. Make that money.
All right, y'all. Rap Shit Season 2 is streaming on Max. And make sure you catch the Companion podcast hosted by Jessie Woo and Zach Campbell on Raedio's YouTube channel.
In the meantime, make sure you keep up with the show online using the hashtag Scottie and Sylvia Show.
And make sure you come back for more of the Scottie and Sylvia Show, because we do it all for you.